Hello, 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 Facebook. I am Lala Angela Wang, your host to Range Woman, the variety show. That's right, you're watching the show right now. If you never watched the show before, if you've never watched me live, Range Woman basically means women who are able to perform multiple, I don't want to say tasks, but more like passions, and they have different things that are moving through in their life. And the key is they manage to move through all the various areas of their life with ease, flow, but most importantly, plenty of pleasure. And that is certainly my living motto and my business model for all of my clients coming into my world. There's no point pursuing your dreams if you can't tap into pleasure. And once you can tap into that pleasure state of overflowing, everything just becomes so much easier. So as you're watching this live, please interact with us because we love connections. And if you're watching the replay, hashtag Range Woman. Today, it gives me so much pleasure to bring out another Energizer Bunny onto the show. And I hope I have the pleasure to call her my good friend. We haven't really seen each other in person, but Jenine and I, when we met in our mastermind, we literally just connected, and really we stay connected for all this time. So without further ado, Jenine!
Hello, everybody.
How are you going? Welcome. I really love your brain color on you. It's like, as a fellow Energizer Bunny.
Yes.
It's always like you just light up the room whenever I see you.
Oh, thank you. That's such a lovely thing to say. Well, I'm very happy to be here. It's an exciting day on the farm, I tell you.
Well, that's really leading to my first question. Why a farm life? Because I know you're not always a farm gal.
No.
You've decided to move to Perth and also have your two kids and your husband, drag them all the way from Canada and decided to move to a farm. And you are building a secret little retreat somewhere on that farm as well. So tell me all about this big move.
Awesome. Well, guys, hello. My name's Jenine Dilts-Bayman. I'm an aligned business mentor for women, and my story started quite a long time ago. I've been living in Western Australia for about 14 years. And in 2012, when I had my first baby girl, all of my family was still overseas. So it was a really tough time coming into motherhood and not knowing anybody. And at that stage, I was working in high performance sports. So I really migrated my mindset from high performance sport, working with athletes, coaches, and officials, to starting my own business. So fast forward 8 years, I grew Mums with Bubs Fitness to be a statewide brand. It was awesome working with women all across the state in their pre and postnatal health. And my baby girl and my son as well got to grow up alongside me doing exercise. And it was amazing. It was so much fun. But 2 years ago, July 2018, it just seemed like the universe took us in a totally other direction. We had big plans to go to Canada. I was launching the brand globally, and everything was going to come together until it wasn't. The children and I, for a number of reasons, ended up not being able to go to Canada. One of my very good uncles at home got sick, and it just became this snowball of bad luck. And I put in quotes bad luck because at the time it was awful, and I felt like the rug had been pulled out from under me. And mid-July, I ended up having a really bad head injury, a bad accident. That's one of those random things that you never see coming. And suddenly my whole business that I'd built, doing fitness and personal training and running this statewide brand sort of fell apart. So I had all these big career goals. And then suddenly it was like, well, what, hold on a second. If this isn't the way, what's the way? And my husband and I looked at each other and said, you know what? If your life had have changed more drastically than it had, we were this close to it being a one-punch situation at the back of my head. If our lives had have changed that drastically, what's one thing that we would have regretted that we didn't do? And it was, we'll move to a farm. Like, why are we living in the city? And he's working this stressed out job with heart palpitations and migraines that we can't explain. I'm hustling my butt off, running around the city, place to place, loving it. But what if we just slowed down? What if we just, he got into his gardening and I was able to work from the deck and we were able to see the kids and hang out as a family? What if, right? So fast forward 2 years, And here we are. It's been a crazy, but awesome journey. And it started with a shift in mindset of, well, if we could have it, what would it look like?
I literally have chills running down from the top of my head all the way through my body as you were telling us that story. So how did you shift your mindset? Because let's admit it, right? Having all of your plans fall apart, having a traumatic accident, you could go either way. You could go, I hate the world's horrible, and just really go into a victim mode. Or you can go, you know what? I'm going to move to the country.
Let's sell everything and move to the country. Why not?
So what was the shift? How did you manage to get yourself out of the negative mindset, which so many of us find easy to fall into, and go, you know what? We're going to find a way out of this.
Yeah, well, I think, to be honest, there was a lot of negative mindset in those first few months. There was a lot of asking, questioning, why is this happening? Why has this happened to us? Like, I can't do anything. I have no income. I built all of this and now it's nothing. There's a lot of negative stuff going on in my mind. So number one, I did seek counseling, and I went through quite a lot of counseling sessions with a psychologist. And then it was a matter of realizing that there was only one person that was going to get me out of the state that I was in, and it was me. There was no white knight coming to save me. There was no, magic fairy going to ship me back to Canada. It was, if I was going to get myself through this, it was only me who was going to be able to do it. And it was a really cool situation, actually. After a few months of going to counseling and journaling and meditating, I did a lot of journaling and meditation. I went to a full moon circle, a meditation circle with some women that I very much trusted, and they knew my story. And it was one of those moments where we were all laying in circle meditating, and it was no kidding. This sounds so woo woo, but the full moon was out. We were in a full moon circle. It was the beginning, mid-August, August 13th or something. And suddenly the tent started almost like the wind shook the tent hard, and we were at this really critical point in the meditation. And it was like, I had an epiphany. I was like, what if my husband wasn't in the stressed out job? Would we still be fighting all the time? What if I could create an online business and pivot all of my current business model online, so it didn't matter if I was laying in bed or not? Would my clients come with me? What if? And we really started to get excited. When I came home and said it to my husband initially, he was like, I'm not leaving my career. I'm just turned 40. I'm, one of the youngest directors in the company. Like, are you mad? And I was like, well, maybe I am, but I want to see you happy and healthy. I want to see us happy and healthy. Maybe we can work through this. And when he said, okay, let's start looking, it was just a matter of, all the pieces falling into place. And for me, getting really clear on this deck. Like, I joke about it all the time on my page, where I joke about the deck of creation. Like, I saw myself working on this deck in the images that I had on my vision board, in my meditations every day. I went there in my mind long before this was ever here. And it was just that staying focused on that goal and recognizing that it wasn't going to be big steps, but it was going to be one step in front of the other, in front of the other, in front of the other. And we can make this happen. Like, if you really want it, you can make it happen. It's never about your, the resources. You can do it.
I'm literally crying right now. Like, this is the most beautiful story. And I think I really want to thank you, Jenine. Like, I am currently manifesting my farm outside of Wagga Wagga right now. And I totally understand what you mean by that deck. So this morning I was in meditation. I was sitting in my office, imagining this 3-story farmhouse, having my tree in the backyard and just feeling connected to it. It's like the most beautiful feeling. And my client thinks I'm nuts whenever I get them to manifest and to think about what they want. I'm like, no, you're not invested in it. There's not enough detail, like literally down to every tiny little detail. And that's the magic.
Absolutely. Exactly, right.
And I don't even have to ask you the question. You believe in manifestation, right?
Oh, absolutely. And you know what? It was sort of like when I had that moment, when we found this property and I put it up next to the vision board picture that I had, it was like, oh my God. Like, it was like I went through my list because I journaled in detail everything that it would have. And I went through the list, and it's like, it's got everything. It's exactly the price that we said we wanted it to be. It's got everything that we could want. It's it. Like it's here. And the thing about it was being open to that infinite possibility, like not being so fixed on it had to be in that, you know, it had to be that exact location or, you know, that exact place. Like we looked all over Western Australia to find this property. But when it happened, it was just, we knew. And manifesting, I've really recognized is one of my strengths. If I, you know, like I say it all the time in one of my programs, the doors of opportunity will open when you're in a place where they are ready to open. You need to be in that space and place in your mindset. And then it's like magic, but it's not, because it started in your mind. You know, it's amazing. I love it.
So I'm going to ask you a chicken and egg question, because I know you've got chicken and you've got farm.
I'm probably around in the garden right now.
So mindset, and obviously, so manifesting and the mindset of a sports person, right? Obviously, you had a PT background. Which one came first?
Definitely. I was going to say definitely. And actually, you know what? I actually think that I was manifesting before I realized what it was, if I'm completely honest. I think the fact that my migration to Australia, I can look back now that I know that it was my mindset that took me there. That I can look back and piece the puzzles together and really see how I was very much programmed to see it as it is from a very young age, and to believe in the question of why. You know, well, just ask. Like, it's no hurt in asking. Why not? You know, I'd always ask, well, why not? And so I actually think that the manifesting magic started to come first more fluently for me. And then I recognized that it was my mindset, because I've always been very much an optimist. And I've always seen the best in situations and always tried to think of, well, how can I, rather than getting stuck. And that sort of was the shift. But yeah, it was a bit of column A, a bit of column B.
Hence why a chicken and egg question.
Exactly. I love it.
I know you love music, and you've got a little secret obsession with dancing with the tunes, just from watching some of your lives, and I've joined in a couple of your dance parties. What was your favorite tune that got you out of your toughest situations?
Oh, my toughest situations? Oh gosh, I'm such a music buff. Like I grew up on the Eagles and Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, and I was a diehard concert kid when I was a teenager. And classical. I love music of all sorts. But to be completely honest, the song that I go back to time and time again, Natasha Bedingfield's Unwritten was something that I just that is a song that anytime I hear it, and I sort of the way the crescendo occurs throughout the song, and she really opens up, and it's that celebration of you have to feel it. You have to feel it first for it to come through. That one was on repeat, and I do have a motivation playlist on Spotify that I'll come back to time and time again with all of those songs that really lift me out of the tough stuff.
That was definitely one of my songs on repeat as well. Yeah, and I agree with you. That crescendo, it just like it kills it every time. Get your tissue paper ready.
That's right, exactly. I did it. You know, yes. And what more is possible for me? What have I yet to write in my story? Right? It's lovely. It's awesome.
Well, Scott just quoted one of the lyrics. Can't read my mind. I'm undefined.
Yeah.
Hello, Scott.
Yes. Hello, Scott. Thanks for the comment, Scott.
So I see you as a woman of transformation and reinvention. Really, through every step of your career, you're constantly transforming and reinventing. What's your motivation and what gives you, I guess, the push? And I guess what I'm trying to ask is, what's your process? What, you know, obviously you went from a PT to having your own business, then moving it to online, and now transitioning into a business coach. Do you get an inkling every time you're ready to transform, or is it just happen to you naturally?
Sometimes it's circumstances. So sometimes, like, for example, moving out of high performance sport, when I first fell pregnant, I thought I'd never leave high performance sport. I loved working in high performance. But I realized, as only you can, I suppose, when you start to think about children, that it wasn't conducive to the lifestyle I wanted to lead. And I suppose, in terms of the transition, I definitely, there's sometimes that was forced, but since then, it's been very much an inkling. It's been following that passion of, well, there's an idea in my mind, and I sit there and I've sort of gone, oh, well, maybe I could, maybe I could make that happen. What would my life look like if and what doors might start to open if and what sort of an impact can I have? Like, I want to have a global impact, and I have learned so much along the way. What if I then stepped into this next role? What's the next, so I guess that's why I consider myself a bit of a visionary for my life, because I think, well, if I can create my story, what sort of a story do I want to create in my wildest dreams? What does that look like? And living on the farm has definitely shown me and given us the freedom to think more creatively. And I think that's a really important point, actually. You need to sort of give yourself that space and that freedom to think, to create, to filter into your joy. And in those moments of pure joy, that's when some of the best ideas have hit me.
I think it's
and hey, Jade, I see that too.
I think also sometimes it's, when we're so busy, our brain hasn't had a chance to kind of stop and pause.
Yes.
And it's those moments you're not creating the space to allow more things to come in, because your brain is already congested, right? But then once you have the idea, what gives you the motivation to take action? Because so often, if you're into human design, I'm a generator. I have a lot of generator friends and many Jans. And you may know that we all have a lot of ideas. And part of the challenge is actioning on the ideas.
Yes.
And to me, you just keep on taking action after action after action. I mean, I know my answer to why I keep on taking action. And you obviously have a really big vision in making that impact globally.
Yeah.
But what keeps me going?
I suppose when I actually see the tangible results of the impact that I'm making within my clients, when I see them, and I have clients who are now transitioning with me from, they've been with me since I started Mums with Bubs Fitness in 2012. And now they're transitioning with me in their roles as mothers and moving into their big business dreams, because they're sort of looking at it and going, if she can continue to, morph and pivot and shift and change and grow, why can't I? And I think, really seeing them and acknowledging also where I can best serve my clients. So sometimes I'll get asked questions, and truth be told, the business mentorship side of it came because more and more of my clients were coming to me saying, okay, you've been doing this for 8 years. You've transitioned everything online. Now you're living the farm. This is amazing. How did you do this? And it was like, it's, one step in front of the other. I find the action and I just keep going. So yeah, it's really, a lot of it is sort of attuning to the questions that I'm being asked consistently from my clients, and giving them what they need, I suppose, and also zoning into how that makes me feel when I'm serving them. What sort of a feeling does it bring up in me? If it brings that feeling of excitement and joy, and I can't wait to get up and do this today, it's just that those feelings, I tap into those feelings a lot.
Yep, it's like what I talk about to all of my clients. Don't start a project until you're 100% sure you can tap into pleasure. Like, there's no point.
Yes,
pleasure is like the foundation of all the things, right? If you can't tap into pleasure, how do you think that you can maintain it and sustain it past 12 months?
That's right. Absolutely. And I see that happen a lot of times with clients who come in and they get to that burnout stage, where they think it's just about hustle, hustle, hustle. And it's like, well, no, just stop. Just stop. I was in that mindset 2 years ago, and the universe literally threw me on my ass and said, no, you are going to be bedridden for 2 months, and you are going to redefine exactly the path that you're on, because you weren't listening before. You weren't listening. So let's pay attention, guys.
Jay says it's Janine's magic energy. That keeps the power on.
But it's been this crazy, it's not crazy, but it's been like, like I'll go and teach an exercise class tonight. I did my meditation this morning. It's now my life is broken into these little, it's like an umbrella of my zones that I love to work in, these pillars that support me to live in the energy that I've got, right? So it's been tapping into those pillars of energy and ensuring that I've got it when I need it for the people that I'm around.
So what's your big vision?
Oh, I've got a pretty big vision.
Tell me.
Okay. Oh gosh, Lala, we don't have 2 hours, but I'll try and summarize it. All right.
I know. I completely understand. It's like whenever people ask me the same question, I'm like, I hope you've got some food and tea.
Yeah. Anybody need a drink? Because now's the chance.
Yeah.
Okay. My big vision, well, I want to continue to grow globally 100%. So the Mama Lifestyle program is my exercise program that's movement, mindset, nourishment. I've got an amazing collaborative team in there that services moms and women who are looking to do easy at-home workouts that include Pilates and yoga and HIIT and mindfulness and nutrition. So there's that. And that is just continuing to grow and grow and grow. And from there, then the business side of things, I mean, I want my mastermind just to continue to grow globally. And it already, I mean, we've got Norway, we've got like Ontario, we've got Western Australia, like we're global already, but the impact that that aligned energy is now creating is just getting started. And then, down here where we are, we've got this retreat coming up that already I'm just getting so excited because we've got, it's the retreat space is nearly good to go. And what this sort of umbrella process has really given us as our family. Oh, and the sustainable farm, getting the sustainable farm dream set up. So we've got the veggie gardens, we've got our sustainable nuts and fruit trees, and our all of the animals are around. Not that we're not gonna eat all of them. Okay, they're just there because they're friendly.
Don't eat Winnie the Pig.
No, Winnie is not getting eaten. I promise. She's way too cute, and she loves to have her pat. So Winnie's not going to get eaten. And then yes, to build this so that it creates a lifestyle that my family we can go back to Canada when we need to, when all this COVID stuff is over. We can host family here. And like I started to call it JDB International, just continues to grow on the pillars of the physical, the energetic, and the technical of growing business. Because I do firmly believe you've got to have those three. You need to have the physical health. You need to keep your health in check when you're growing a business. You need to energetically be attuned to the vision that you're growing. And you need the technical know-how. So just continuing to tap into those three pillars. Yeah.
That is so good. When is your retreat opening? This is a very selfish question. I want to know so I can be the first person at the retreat.
Woohoo! Aiming for January 2021, my dear. So
and how many people can you have?
Stages. Well, it's going to be very intimate, very private. We've got a singular bell tent. So when the retreat weekends are open, it'll probably be 6 women. But when we hire it out as an Airbnb, it'll probably be for couples or probably couples. Or young families kind of thing. Yeah. Yes, all set up in the forest when the borders are just about open, so you can come on over.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, nearly there.
Brilliant.
Yes.
I want to talk about your 3 pillars because you talk about it a lot. How do you come about and why do you think they are so important to everything that you do? So that's movement, mindset, and nourishment.
Yes. Okay. So whether it be in health, because obviously that's my background is physical health. In the health world, so many women would come to me and, when I was teaching fitness and teaching personal training, it was primarily that they're coming to me because they want weight loss or they want fat loss or they want to tone up. And it was always the aesthetic with the focus on how can I move my body more to get the results that I'm after. And what I started to witness was the number of people who would do that, but it wasn't sustainable. They'd go really, really hard. They'd cane themselves in the gym, but then when it came down to it, it wouldn't last. So it was like, okay, well, what are you doing with your nutrition? So the nourishment side of things got to be there as well. So for a long time, it was those 2 bases got covered. And yes, we'd get results, but the missing link, I think, amongst all of it is the mindset. So you can have the physical and the nourishment, but if you're missing the mindset, you're not going to get the results. You can have the physical and the mindset, but if you haven't got the nourishment, you're not going to get the results. You see what I mean? So it's really got to be those three pillars to hold up the table. That is you and your body, to make sure that you can continue to grow and get the results that you're after. Yeah.
And so many people
So
think
important.
that's just our body, right? But like, if you have had your own business for a long time, you'll know that's like exactly what you said. They are those legs of your business, because without any of them, you don't have your health.
Yeah.
You don't have your vitality. You know, you don't have your energy.
Exactly.
You don't have your mindset. You're not going to get there.
Nope. And that carries, it carries across whether you're, in motherhood, as I saw with a lot of the women I worked with Mums with Bubs Fitness. It carries across into business with the entrepreneurs that I'm working with, and I'll call them on it. If I recognize that they're burning out and I can see the dark circles under their eyes, and I can look at them and say, so what have you done to nourish yourself today? Where's your movement at? I didn't have time. And it's like, sorry. Nah, you do have time, because if you're growing this empire, if you're growing this vision, we have to take care of you. You have to take care of you. And as I said, when you asked me that earlier question, there's no white knight coming to save you. You are the only person who can do anything about your health. And you're the only person who's going to action it. It doesn't matter how much somebody else wants it for you. You need to want it for you. And you need to see the importance of it across not just your business, but your overall life vision.
By the way, Jay said she's coming to your retreat too.
It's gonna be good. I can't wait. Oh, the deck of creation is expanding. I'll do more stories about it.
Yes, please. I can't remember what my question was.
That's okay. That's all right. I'll grab a quick drink.
Let me think. Yes, I remember now. So since movement, mindset, and nourishment are so important to you, do you mind share your routine of the day, and how do you cover movement, mindset, and nourishment into your day?
Sure, absolutely. All right. So I'll start off by saying that is not perfect by anyone's standards but my own. Okay. There is no perfect, I don't believe there's any diet out there and that actually works unless it works for you and unless you believe in it. Okay. So you've got to make sure that whatever you're eating and taking in is balanced and makes you feel really good from the inside out. But my days, these days, usually I wake up at about 6-ish. The kids are usually all in bed. My kids usually come in at about 5 a.m. and everybody snuggles in and gets that last little bit of sleep. I am not a member of the 5 a.m. club. Never have been. But for a long time, I thought I had to be successful. So all the kids jump on in. Everybody has a big old snuggle. I'll roll out of bed, and I'll, after I get the kids' breakfast sorted, I'll come out onto the deck and I'll do a brief meditation and a stretching sequence. And I'll either be doing that with one of my online groups, or I'll just be doing that for myself. And then my nourishment starts. So really, making sure that I've had a big drink of water at the start of the day. And then I'll start to get everything starting to flow. So I'll feel good in my body, feel good in my mind, start to action my lists. And movement. I mean, I'm really lucky in the sense that I've set up my job that everything that I do for work involves movement. When I'm out teaching fitness classes, I'm moving, but I also set myself goals like half marathons. So I've been doing a lot of running lately. It's just, we live in such a gorgeous area down here. And I think one thing that, 2020 has taught us is not to take your freedom for granted. Getting out and being able to move is so wonderful. And then nourishment, I make sure that I've always got healthy snacks prepped in the fridge. Preparation is key. And short bursts of exercise. I think that's the number one thing I say for a lot of women is, especially when you've got kids, like do the quick prep when you get a chance. If you're prepping your kids snacks and that in the morning, prep yourself some snacks and that as well. What they don't need to get all the fruit and veggies. Give yourself some of that too when you're going to be out and around with them. And also making sure that their exercise bursts can be done in small bursts. It doesn't have to be 2 hours at the gym. Maybe it once was, but it doesn't have to be that anymore. And in terms of the mindset, I am a stickler for my daily meditation. I meditate every day at 1 o'clock. That's my meditation time where I really just zone out, even if it's for just a few minutes, just to breathe, right? focus in, reflect, revise my day, and reconnect with where I'm going. So, and just make sure that I try and fit that in every day. But not every day is perfect, though.
Well, we're all human, right?
Absolutely.
So how do you
and
bring your kids into your life?
Oh, they have been, my daughter could do burpees before she could tie her shoes, you know, like the kids, both of them grew up. I mean, they were the catalyst. They were the reason for it. My Rube was 6 months old when I taught my first Mums with Bubs fitness session with her, with all of our little babies in the baby carriers. And that's what the life that she grew up knowing, was recognizing that movement is natural, active daily life is just a normal part of the way we live. Yeah. And I think it's really, as time's gone on, it's only now really starting to show that, you know, that the movement side of it, but then also the energetic side of it. So the meditation, they do meditations now. They ask for them at night, and it's really cool. And yeah, I think it's starting to really reflect in how they live as little people. And you know, we have our fair share of issues, of course, as parenting does. But they're starting to learn the tools to bring them back to ground again. You know, they're starting to learn the tools that they can reconnect with themselves. And that's been, you know, invaluable to us as a family. And that was, again, another reason why we moved down here, because we recognized in the city, in the concrete jungle environment, they weren't connecting to the earth. They weren't, you know, running around barefoot and picking their fresh veggies from the garden and going into the chicken coop and picking the eggs, you know. And it's been a wonderful transition for the whole family, really.
That's so cool. Yeah, I love seeing your whole family just getting in the mud and getting dirty and doing all the things.
Oh, yeah.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah, they do. And yeah.
Sorry, you were saying? Oh, I just had a
cat.
I
was just going to say, yeah, there he goes. It's, you know, it's definitely has its challenges, 100%. It's a very, very different life than the city life we were living, you know, 18 months ago. But everyone is just, you know, I think that not enough can be said about being in nature and, you know, giving yourself the chance to stay grounded in Mother Earth and feel that energy. That's just, it's so good. It's so good for the soul.
So what's your biggest challenge so far moving to the farm?
My biggest challenge so far, you're going to laugh at this one. It's probably been the animals escaping. They are goats. If anybody out there has ever had goats before, we have the most beautiful animals, and they do come when they're called, but they can jump any fence that we've set up for them. So my dear husband's out there, you know, getting the orchards prepped and working on all these different prep plants, and they get out and they escape and they eat everything. I'll be on a client call, and it's like I try not to jump off, but I'll witness behind me, you know, a goat's gone out and I can see it eating the roses, and I'm like, just stop eating the roses, but you can't do anything about it in that moment. It's been that's been a big challenge. But then certainly I think this year my big challenge for me personally has been homesickness. You know, there is one thing that, you know, working through COVID-19, when all my family's in Canada, it's been really hard. And I know I'm not the only one. There's so many expats out there who are going through the ache, and it's sort of, it's almost debilitating some days. And to be honest, the days that it is quite debilitating, I let myself really feel it, you know. I don't try and just push it aside. I let myself really feel it and know why I feel it. And then get up and move on again tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm with you, sister.
Yeah,
but I think the other thing is also it makes us realize how important family is, right? So I used to go home once a year to see my mom. She lives in New Zealand, and I probably see my dad twice, once every 2 years. And it's not until COVID you realize, holy shit, because of COVID, I have not seen my mom for 2.5 years. And she's only in New Zealand. You know how much we take for granted. And I think if anything, COVID really brings us closer from a heart space.
Absolutely. Absolutely, it does. And it certainly makes my vision that much stronger, you know, in terms of what I want to create for the people around me, for those that I love, to be able to come back and really, you know, visit us here, but that when we go back to Canada, that we can have that time, you know, to be with them and to really tap into the family side of things. Absolutely.
That's so beautiful. Oh, thank you, Jay, for the comment. Such an inspiration, really.
Oh, thank you, Jade. Beautiful, honey. Thank you for watching, Jade. You're awesome.
And she's sending. Oh, thanks, Jade.
No. Thank you, honey. That's beautiful.
So my best friend has recently given birth to a beautiful baby boy. So my question is around, and obviously Scott and I, we're trying as well. The cat's out of the bag. So what is your advice to first-time moms getting back to their routine, getting back to their movement, mindset, and nourishment?
Okay, number one.
Obviously doing your program.
Yes. Well, of course, yes, but definitely take your time. You know, take your time to reconnect. Take your time and connect with your body and connect with your baby and connect with a community who gets it. I think one of the hardest things in becoming a mother is it can be so isolating. You know, my daughter was one of those children that didn't, like, she was up every 2 hours. You're going to love this. She was up every 2 hours until she was 18 months old. And we kept hearing that she was going to grow out of it, and she never did. And I felt so isolated because I thought I was the only one. I thought I was the only one who was experiencing this. And I thought I was the only one who was feeling the way that I was feeling. And I think, you know, I created that community around me through Mums with Bubs Fitness, but I never really stepped into how depleted I was at that point in life and how draining it was and taxing, not just on me, but on my relationship. You know, we struggled as a couple in those points, because suddenly you've gone from it being everything about you two to this third little being, right? And it's really hard. So really taking your time to reconnect and understanding that your body never will be the same way again. It won't, and it shouldn't be. You know, you've created this incredible new life, this beautiful being, and you did that. Your body did that. So it should be celebrated. And I think social media certainly, social media can make us feel a bit ungrateful for that process sometimes. You know, you look and you sort of think, oh, I wish I could have that again. You know, I wish I could have that body again. And it took me a really long time to understand and to celebrate the body that I have, and that this body gave me. Don't put them off of having a baby. Jade's just said, I won't. I'm trying not to, Jade. But to celebrate the body, to celebrate the vessel that this is yours. You know, you are doing this. You have done this. You have created this. How amazing is that? And it took me a really long time to get into that mindset. I really thought I was going to bounce back. You just bounce back, right? After having a baby? No. And
Sure.
that's fine. It shouldn't. Yeah, no. And it shouldn't be either. So yeah, taking your time, easing back into things physically, you know, intimacy wise, of course, like just take your time to ease back into life and celebrate the journey that you've been on, and surround yourself with support. Support is just so critical at that stage. So yeah.
That's so good, because, you know, like for me, even if you look at in construction and look at the way that we work, not just like having babies is huge, right? But just looking at, I was talking to somebody the other day, having your period, right? Period pain. Even that was like this shame around it. And, you know, how many women go to work and just trying to hide their monthly cycles?
Yes, exactly right. Exactly right. And for me as well, coming from high performance, it was sort of like I thought I was going to be in that industry forever. And it sort of became, as soon as I fell pregnant, it was almost like I had a big X on my tummy. Like it was like, you know, she's out of the boardroom now. She's not coming back. Although I know plenty of women who have, but it was that whole perception of, no, well, when she's 4 months, she's going to daycare and I'm going to be back. I'll be back. And it was only when I hit that point and I realized, you know, I have a beautiful friend named Julia Jones who runs a business called Newborn Mothers, and she is amazing. She was such an incredible support to me all the way along. And, you know, her thing is that giving birth is about becoming a mother as well. You know, you're not just giving birth to a child, but you're giving birth to you becoming a mother. It's a whole new game, right? So really celebrating that transition and knowing that, you know, this new life is something that you really need to step into with arms wide open. And it's going to be amazing.
Well, I definitely know I'm going to
So
have
can't
all the
wait, Lala.
support.
Oh, babe, I'm so excited for you. Yes.
I'm scared and excited at the same time. Because I've got this, talking about manifestation, right? I've got this thing, and I said to the universe, I'll make you a deal. Give me twins, 1 boy, 1 girl, getting all all done.
Yeah.
And then everyone's like, you've got no idea what's coming to you.
Yes. And that is the reason why I'm not having more Lala, to be honest, because twins run in my family and we didn't get them yet. International flights with 2 I can handle. Oh, man.
And you got enough animal babies.
Oh, we have plenty of animal babies. I think we had 2 new chicks born today. So yes, we sure do.
Oh,
yeah, we sure do. Yes, they're everywhere. They're everywhere.
So finally, Range Woman is the name of the show. And you are certainly a living, breathing range woman throughout your life. What would be your one advice to any woman that's watching the show? You're thinking, I just know I am so much more than who I am, where I am in my life right now, and I'm ready to go to the next level, but I'm shit scared. It might be motherhood, it might be a promotion, it might be starting a side hustle. What would your advice be for our audience?
Oh, good question, Lala. I would say to number one, recognize that you don't just have one purpose, you have purposes. So I think all of us, sometimes you go to a mentor, you go to a coach, or you hire this person on, and you might be thinking you're there for that one thing. And the reality is there are so many things that you can learn along your journey. There's so many things that will happen for you on that journey. And it's a matter of recognizing that, it's okay to grow and to morph and to change and to channel into ideas and to feel your way forward. And that there will be so many times when you feel like you have no idea what you're doing. Like there will be so many times when you just sort of go, I don't know what my next step is. And that's where, you really need to reach out for that bit of support or that bit of guidance from someone who's just a few steps ahead of you, right? Yeah. To look around and to recognize that whatever it is that you're chasing, whatever is this life transition that you're moving into, there's someone who's done it before you. So find a person who you can admire and maybe lean into for support, and they can help you along your journey too. I just think that's just so important, is to recognize that you have purposes, and it's a matter of really knowing holding that vision overall for your life in the most clarity that you possibly can, and just keep stepping forward, keep looking for signs, keep asking for help, and step into the life that you want to create.
That is amazing. And I think also getting a community around you, right? Like,
absolutely.
If I look at you,
yes,
you're my inspiration every day. Like just looking at you and seeing the things that you do. And, being in the mastermind for me, like I never used to work with women. Like I don't even go into women mastermind. But by being able to accepting myself and walking myself into a supported network, I don't think I would have got through COVID and would have got through this year without the support network that I've got.
Yes, so absolutely.
I want to thank you.
Oh, and thank you. Our support network has been incredible. And that's what I mean. You're not on this road alone. You're never on the road alone. Like look around and look for inspiration, and not in a comparisonitis kind of way, but in a way of, if she can do this, so can you. If they can do this, so can you. It's possible, right? You've just had the thought. It's possible. Lean into that thought. Yeah. And let's go, right? Let's see where it takes us. It's so exciting. I'm sure we feel the same. It's so exciting.
So how can people work with you? How can we find you? How can we stalk you? How can we find out all the things about Jenine?
I'm on the gram, I'm on Instagram and on Facebook at Jenine Dilts-Bayman. That's Jenine with a J-E. You can see my name there, exactly as it's written underneath here, Jenine Dilts-Bayman. And that's where you have all the links to everything that I do. So the Mama Lifestyle program, the membership there, the health stuff, the energetic, which is my Aspire program, And that's where we really tap into, the manifestation method that has become what I see every day in my life. And then the technical, the how-to as well, right? Like really understanding the actual action, technical steps that you need to take to grow your business or your dream life. So yeah, you can find me across those channels, guys, and I would absolutely love to see you there.
Thank you so much, Jenine. And the next round of Aspire is coming up, isn't it?
It is. Yes, we start on Monday, and I can't wait. It's my favorite program. It came to me again. Yeah, I love my epiphanies. Like this whole thing started from an epiphany, and Aspire was one of those downloads from the universe that I can't explain. It just hit me, and it just has come through me like it almost sounds, like woo divine channel. Like it actually was like, okay, let's do, this is you. This is what you need to do. So let's take it and run and lift and engage and energize. And when we get together in that program, it is just like a catalyst for the most incredible magic that you just can't explain it. It's just amazing.
If you want to find a program that inspires you, sign up to Aspire. Please.
Thank you, honey. Exactly right. Exactly right.
Thank you so much, Jenine, for your time.
Thank you for having me.
No, I had a blast. And I mean, like, catching up with you is always a blast.
Yes, same. And I didn't even have a goat escape. I've got the ducks out, but the goats are still in the paddock. Woo!
Hey!
A winner.
Maybe we should do more interviews more often.
Yes, sounds good to me, honey.
All right, we'll definitely catch up next time. And for those of you that are watching, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
See you. Bye.